Hi Year 2, here is English for today. In today's lesson we are continuing with the work that we did yesterday when we were planning the beginning of our story, and in today's lesson we're going to be planning the middle of our story. Moving on to handwriting for today, the word that I would like you to practice 3 times is actually one of our spellings for this week. And the word that I'd like you to practice is city. Don't know if you can see that clearly. There we go, city. Now it sounds like a S at the beginning, doesn't it? City, but it's a soft C, so it isn't the letter S, it's the letter C. So I'd like you to practice the word city 3 times, and remember that the letter Y is a descender, so if you've got a copy of the worksheet then it should be touching the bottom red line like you can see on the screen right now. Write the word city 3 times for me. Here is our starter for this morning to warm up our writing brains. So there are 3 questions on the screen and they are numbered 4, 5 and 6. And what I would like you to do, when I finish reading them, I'd like you to pause the video here and you can write down the answers. If you've got some paper around you, you could write down the answers. So number 4 says, which sentence is a command? Now remember, a sentence that's a command starts with a bossy verb. So it has a bossy doing word at the beginning, like get, put, tidy. It's an instruction, it's telling you to do something. You need to tick one of those, so you need to choose one of those sentences. Number 5 says, circle the 2 nouns in the sentence below. So remember that nouns are people, places or things. There are 2 in that sentence, you could just write them down. And then number 6 says, add a suffix to the word cold to complete the sentence below. And a suffix is just a group of letters that you can add to the end of a word that might change its meaning a little bit. So the sentence says, it felt cold in the house, but when I went outside, it felt even cold. There's a group of letters missing from the end. So it was cold in the house, but it was even cold outside. Have a little go at that now, boys and girls. Pause the video here so that you can do it. If you need to, you could pause the video here and click on the link that's in Teams on our writing page for today to re-watch the story of Traction Man. Now we've been studying Traction Man over the last 2 weeks in class in school, and if you're a little bit unsure or you've forgotten what's happened because it's been a few days, pause this video, open up the Traction Man story video, and you could have a little watch of that now, because we've written the beginning and now we're going to write the middle. If you were working in school for the last couple of days, then you might have written your beginning at school and we did it at home. Okay, so if you need to, pause the video here, open up the Traction Man story video and watch it if you want to. You don't have to, it's a choice of yours. Yesterday, when we had our live lesson, we were writing the beginning of our Traction Man adventure. And if you did not do this yesterday, that is fine. You can just write the middle with us today, okay? Don't worry that you've not done it. You could just magpie my beginning and have that as the beginning of your story. So here's what I came up with yesterday when I was working with you guys when we were in our live lesson. So this was the beginning of my Traction Man adventure. Now, when we were looking at the beginning of our story, I said that I wanted to see a question, an exclamation, I wanted to see capital letters and full stops, and I also wanted to see a sentence that started with one of those special words. What the word that I used to start my sentence was splash, and I read lots of amazing pieces of writing yesterday that chose different words to start a sentence, like boom, splat, kapow, zoom, things like that. What I would really like you to do now is to pause the video, read through my beginning, and then we are going to edit your beginning. So we're going to check that we've got all of those things in that I asked you to put in yesterday. So pause the video and read through my beginning now. Just to remind us, this was what I was looking for yesterday in your writing. So I wanted to see capital letters and full stops, Question, an exclamation and an example of onomatopoeia where the word sounds like the sound it's making, bang, crash, zoom, pow, one of those words. We're going to edit our writing now. So we're going to think about those 4 things and we're going to edit our writing. Okay, you might want to grab yourself a different coloured pencil or a pen or something that's a different colour to what you were writing in yesterday. And that's because we're going to be editors now. We've got a piece of work from the author, which was you yesterday, and now we're going to be the editors. We're going to edit our writing. Okay. Now, this was a brilliant example that I was sent yesterday and I absolutely loved it, so I wanted to share it on here today. And I'm going to show you how I would edit this piece of work if it were mine. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I would do. Now, the first thing that I'm being told to look for is capital letters and full stops. So as I read through my sentences on here, I'm going to check for capital letters and full stops. So I can see that the start of my sentence does have a capital letter. Do you want to know all the amazing things that Traction Man has done? Question mark, brilliant. So I can see that I've got a question. So I might give myself a little tick because I know that I've used a question. Traction Man was wearing a red cape, comma, red jet boots and a blue suit, full stop. Fantastic. So I can see that whilst I'm looking for capital letters and full stops, I can see that I'm using those as well. Okay, and I'm going to keep looking, I'm going to keep reading my sentences to check that there are capital letters and full stops, and maybe that I've got the correct letter formation as well. So I can see that my f just needed to be more curved rather than straight and that type of thing. So I'll be using a different colour to edit my writing. Now, if you did not write the beginning yesterday or you've not got it with you for whatever reason, that is okay. You can skip this step and just move on to the next part of the video. But if you were with us yesterday writing the beginning, it's really important now that we start to learn how to edit our writing. So rereading it and checking for those things. Now, just looking at this one, I can see that it needs an exclamation. So the wonderful person who's written this might add to the end how brave he is or how terrifying it was, whatever's happened at the end of the beginning. Okay, so edit your beginning now. Look, you're looking for those 4 things. If you're missing something, try and add it in. Okay, it's okay to add in, and in fact, it's really good to edit your work because it proves that you're learning how to add things to your writing. Okay, now we've been editors, we now need to carry on being authors. So maybe take off your editor hat and put on your author hat. I've put my author hat back on because now we're going to write the middle of our story. So if you have got the story mountain somewhere around you or near you from the other day, it would be a really good time now in school. We'd be looking at the middle that we planned. So we'd be rereading what we have planned for the middle of our story. And remember, this is when Traction Man might be doing some kind of mission, then he might receive that special outfit. And people might laugh at him. That's the middle of our Traction Man adventure. Or if your Traction Man isn't a man, if he's a hamster or whatever he is, then this is when that would happen. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Fabulous. Here is the middle of my story. Okay, so this is what I've written for the middle. I'm going to read it out loud to you. And the great thing about this being a video rather than me being live today is that you can pause this and have this on your screen whilst you're doing your writing, because I know that some of us yesterday might have been trying to rush to get everything written down. So at least now you've got this in front of you so that you can read it if you need it. You might not need it, but it's there if you need it. Okay, let's have a little read of our middle, or my middle. Yours will be much better, I'm sure. On his second day after arriving, Traction Man finds himself in the shiny clean bath, and before he can blink he becomes captured by the evil toes. Scrubbing Brush leaps from the floor beside the bath and swish, He tickles the evil toes until they give in. Following all that fun, the next day Traction Man travels to Granny's house in the intergalactic people mover. When he arrives, he's given a red glittery present. Traction Man carefully unwraps the present, and inside is a green knitted combat suit. Traction Man isn't so sure it'll help him, but he wears it anyway. He puts it on, but is surprised when his friends laugh at him. I'll prove it isn't so bad after all, he thought. That's the middle of my story. That's the one I've written. Now, when I was reading it, I spotted that there were some mistakes with my writing. I noticed there were a couple of capital letters missing. So tomorrow, when I edit the middle, that's what I'll fix. I'll be fixing those things. And that might happen with yours. Because you're writing to get all of your ideas down, you might accidentally make a mistake, and that's okay, because making mistakes is good. We can fix them. I would like you to pause the video, have this up on your screen, and write the middle of your story now. Okay, I can't wait to read them, and remember, it's only the middle, just the middle. Okay, just in case anyone watches this part of the video, there are some top tips here to write the middle. Remember to pause on mine to help you. Remember that he needs to get something new as a present, a new kind of outfit that he's going to wear that's going to help him with his final mission. And then it'd be really helpful if you check your worksheet to see what I'm looking for. Okay, and your worksheet is here. So these are the things today that I'm looking for. I'm still looking for capital letters and full stops. I'm still looking for an exclamation. I'm still looking for some onomatopoeia. Swish, boom, pow, bang, crash, squish. I'm also looking for a preposition. Now remember, that's just a fancy way of describing where something is. For example, I think I said that scrubbing brush was beside the bath. So I'm just looking for one of those words in your writing. And then of course, I'm looking for two-way sentences. So you can tell your grown-up at home what a two-way sentence is. It's a sentence that uses two adjectives to describe the noun. I bet you're really good at writing them, and I bet you can impress your grown-ups too. So those are the things I'm looking for in today's writing. Remember, it's not the end of the world if you forget to include one of those, because when we edit our writing, we can make sure we've got them in, can't we? Our Traction Man stories are amazing so far, and I can't wait to read the middles. Remember to send them in to me so that I can be looking through them. Happy writing, everyone, and I'll see you very soon.